Very good day, everybody. Welcome to another video. It's a live video. I'm your personal funky scene pilot. My name is Arkady Gidzenko. I'll be your captain for today. And we're actually now sitting in Florida. We're still in Florida, actually, I should say. We're currently at the Tailwinds airport in Jupiter, Florida. And we're going to have a little flight to the Palm Shadows Airpark. It's on the other side of Florida. It's for another, let's call it a small business supply run, if you will. Today we're using the Piper Arrow Turbo, the Turbo Arrow number 4. So let's just hop on into the aircraft and get this thing going. We're using real world weather and real world time for the Florida. So let's just where's the cabin door? So let's use baggage. There we go. Also close this cabin door here. Lock it. And you latch it. And try to get rid of this little. Let's put it away. Okay, so we're at this little private airfield. Let's see what we can show you on the outside here. It's a little privately owned airfield in Jupiter, Florida. Today's flight is about 60 minutes, maybe a little less. Not too far. Basically, we'll be flying from the west to the east. From the east to the west. I can show you a little bit of the flight plan. It is not too complicated. What we're going to do is just fly from VOR to VOR to VOR. And as you can see, it's highlighted here. The Papa Hotel Kilo, the Lima Bravo Victor, and the Papa Golf Delta. And I believe what's this one? Apparently looks like that's an airway or something, but I'm not really sure. But we're just going to fly from the VR to the VR, so our current location at the Tailwinds private airport is right here in Florida. And so we're nice and close to the sea, but we'll actually fly to the other side. Like this, just fly all the way to the west. And basically you reach the other end of Florida. As you can see, it's about a 44-minute flight, so all in all, probably, like maybe 1 hour or so. And then the first VOR that we're going to fly to is the Palm Beach County Glades, Papa Hotel Kilo. And we have the frequency, you can see it right here on the map, believe it should be. This one, the Pajo Key, that's the 115.4. So that's the one that the first one that we're going to use. It will be a 28 nautical mile distance to traverse to that VOR, heading of 252, and after that we'll actually carry on to our next VOR, which is the Label, Lima Bravo Victor, 110.4, and then another 33 nautical miles to the Punta Gorda. Let's see what it's. That's the Papa Golf Delta, St. Petersburg is 110.2, and then from there we fly out on radio 161 for about 12 nautical miles until we reach our airport. It's the Palm Shadows Airport. It's also a privately owned airport. For what I said, the discreet business delivery run. That's actually all. So if you're just joining, welcome. As I said, we're in Florida, and let's just get this thing going. And if you just left, thank you for visiting. It's always nice to have people aboard with us. Okay, so here we are in the Piper, the Turbo Arrow. Let's just get this thing started and get this plane off the ground and flying to our destination. let's have a look. So where do we start again? So here we are in the middle, so we just start with the battery and the alternator. The fuel pump, let's also turn on the landing lights and some of the instrument lights right there. There you go, like that. Let's put the mixture to reach. And the prop fluid, and this is 1/4 of throttle. And not to forget, we select the fuel selector, we select the left fuel tank. There you go, the aircraft starts whirring. And basically we just start it up. Alright, so we got this going. That's a good start. And that's a bad start. It's shutting down. So what did we miss? Checking everything. I believe this part should actually be good. The fuel pump too low. Unless I'm forgetting anything, let's see. Maybe just a little more power then. Let's try again. Okay, so let's just keep the engine running for a little bit. I do want to pull up the tablet. So I'd like to see what the other options were for the GPS, because I usually actually like, yes, this looks so much better, don't you think? It looks like old school, no fancy GPS and or nothing. Okay, so the engine's still running. That's always good news. Just go down a little bit. So we got plenty of fuel to get there. So let's turn on the avionics. I believe this actually, I'm not too familiar with this aircraft. Usually I fly the Piper Warrior instead of the Aero. I think this should actually be fine. I hear like a ticking sound, like a clock. I do not hope it has anything to do with the nature of today's flight, though. I guess we'll never find out. Alright. So the first VOR that we're going to fly to, it would be the Papa Hotel Kilo VOR. And so it's 115.4, so just going to put that in, 115.4. It does not look like it's picking up yet. Let's get this thing out of the way now. .4. Does not look like it's picking up anything yet. Here as well, let's just double check. This is sitting on this is the nav1, this is the nav2. How did this one work again? It's actually been a while since I fly this aircraft. Autopilot on, roll heading on, and here you can select you want heading or just follow the navigation. So I believe you choose this one. See if you can get up close a little bit more. like this, and just go down a little. So basically for your autopilot, you can choose. Now it's set to the nav 1, you can set it to the off, and you can set it to the nav 2. We're going to be using the nav 1, and you can select the nav, the omni, heading. Not sure what this is. Localizer, localize normal, localizer reverse. Oh, okay, so you can fly like a reverse course basically. Not necessarily have to do that. I believe actually for today's purpose the nav setting should actually suffice, so we're just going to use that. So yeah, still not really sure what the ticking sound is. Let's just hope it is not anything explosive. But you know, we're sitting at a private little airfield, and you know, my boss really take good care of things, so this should probably actually all just be fine. Okay, so just without any further ado, let's just get this thing going now. So the flap go to the takeoff setting. Release the parking brake, start rolling, so it's not crash into the building there. Let's have a look at our orientation. So just make a little U-turn. Looks like we're going to make use of the grass here a little bit. Now with regards to the wind, if anybody see a windsock, you know what we could actually do. Let's just stop it right here. Let me check the charts, because I believe on the charts sometimes you get the wind, so let's just pull up the sky vector charts, and sometimes when you hover over the airport it will show you a little pop-up. Let's hope it show up now too. Doesn't look like it's showing. Maybe can I just click this? No, sometimes it does. Maybe it's for different aircraft, airfields. No. Okay, so we have no idea what the wind is here. No problem. We're just going to take off then. Not too big of an issue. So let's get rolling. So as I said, flight time is about expected to be like 44 minutes. It's quite a fast airplane. Should be able to do about 172 knots or so. It should be fairly fine. So we'll just turn right here. We'll line ourselves up before we take off, obviously. Okay, so we'll brake, engine to idle. Let's quickly have another check. The ticking sound, it sounds like the timer might be engaged, but then again, not really sure. The rest actually should be looking fine. Let's put the squawk of 1200. We are actually on the VATSIM network, but it looks like there is no traffic and no air traffic, no controller or anything. I just figured it would be fine. Once we're in the air, maybe we could just dial in 122.8. You know what, let's just do it now, 122.8, and we'll be live there as well on the VATSIM. So 122.8. Florida Jupiter traffic, Whisky Papa 812, taking off runway 27. Florida traffic. Well, that's for all the Florida traffic, well, whatever. Okay, so let's just get this thing going now. And let's cross Florida. Okay, so that's takeoff, positive rate, gear up. Let's trim it a little more. And the flap go up. And now we can see the VOR speaking up right there. So first let's see if we can achieve some level flight here. Looks like there is quite a strong wind. We'll trim it straight for now. We're not planning on flying too high really. Yeah, this looks like decent speed here. And we should be flying like a direction of 27 something. Let's try and find this little mother. There you go. Okay, so we could follow the heading, but I guess we could also just say to the autopilot here, heading on, ready to follow. You can follow the nav 1, and there you go. Let's just see how it does, if it works, how it's working. We should now actually be turning to a heading of 24 something right there. You can see it here in the you can see it right here in the nav 1 situation, and you can also see it here. So let's just line it up a little better. I actually believe there should also be a possibility with this aircraft to have it maintain your altitude. But I forget where did they put it again. I believe it was something if you click, it's like this hidden spot that you can click somewhere. I'm not really sure. Let's just go check our vertical speed. Could be it, or it might be settling, or it just might be trimmed properly, but I guess it's probably it. Okay, so let's check now if what we asked the aircraft to do is it actually doing it. Yes, very much looks like it. So we're flying towards our reverse VOR. This is 25 nautical miles to the west. I have no clue what happened to our transponder code right there, 5737. I do not remember for the life of me putting that in. Well, I do remember putting in 1200, but you know what, Arkady, no problem. It's all good. Okay, so let's get rid of the annoying aircraft landing light thingy there. So we just give this down one notch, and then no more OCD for Arkady. So there's a chance that when we land, the sun is actually down over the Florida landscape. We flew yesterday over the Florida as well. We went sightseeing to have a look at the Kennedy Space Center, and we flew over the Launchpad 39A, the Launchpad 39B. We flew over the shuttle landing facility, and we also saw the vehicle assembly building. We flew past it like 2 times, I believe, and then we just landed a little to the north of that. At the same time, the sun was also setting, which is always very nice to see in the Microsoft Flight Simulator. So let's have a little look at the external view for a bit, just to gaze at the airplane that we're flying in. So here's the Piper Turbo Aero number 4. It looks like it's some Austrian livery. Apology. I apologize. Oh yeah. It's a lot better. So I do not know what these numbers, the OE, KFT, what they all stand for, but well, we'll just take it. I do like this view actually. It looks pretty. Anyway, so let's just go back to the cockpit. And let's check our speed. So we're at the speed of about 140 knots. Looks fine. And let's just fine tune a little bit for our radial that we're flying. But it's going well. Interestingly, I see that the communication is also changed back. I believe this was some setting in the Microsoft Flight Simulator, and I changed this the other day. And now what? Is it changing back automatically? Looks like the yeah, look at that. Yeah, it changed back automatically. It's actually weird because it was a setting I never ever even used. I never fiddle around with it, but for some reason it looks like there is some setting that now the AI or something is controlling some of the communications devices, and I never ever use the Microsoft communication devices because I never talk to the Microsoft ATC at all, because it's simply, they're simply not too bright, you know, and I like to do it myself. I do not like surprises. I mean, would you like it? You dial in like 122.8 and then you check and it's back. You know, it doesn't make any sense. Who would like that? So it's actually just a stupid thing. But you know, like since we're not actually online, I mean there is no other traffic or anything, so just not going to bother for now. But it is weird because I did change it the other day because it didn't work, and I changed it and it worked, and now it's no longer working again. So we're actually flying towards the sun. So if we fly fast enough, maybe it would never set. What do you think? And we achieve orbit. Oh look, there's a nice little highway. But I believe it's a highway. Now it looks like a creek. I don't know what the Americans do to their landscape. You know, they never ask Arkady anything. They just go ahead and they change things up and down and around and whatever, you know. Let's turn on some little whorehouse lights here. So we have a nice little whorish looking plane. To look like a brothel, if you ask me. I guess we're still holding altitude, so that's actually nice. Just fine tune the VOR, so we're flying the correct tracking towards the VOR there. Fortunately, it is not changing around the frequencies here, the nav1 frequency, because that's actually the one that we do need the most. If it were doing that, you know, we'd be screwed. So we got the last 10 nautical miles to go. So in preparation for our second leg, let's just pull up the sky vector chart. So have a look right here at the sky vector chart. Where is it? Okay. So we're flying heading 252-ish towards Palm Beach County Glades, Papa Hotel Kilo. And what is the VOR here? That is 115.4. That is the one that we're flying to. And we're flying from here now. It does not say any heading. What would be about 274 or 275 or yeah, something like that. There's 274, yeah. So we're flying to the Lobel. This is 110.4. 110.4. So we just simply 110.4. We put it in. For now, what I will do is 110.4. I just put it in here. We're not going to activate it here. Basically, we use it as like a standby. We could put it manually here. You could actually also maybe just switch to the nav2 frequency. But you know, the steering wheel's in the way. It's just a hassle. So what we're just going to do, keep on flying for another 7.4 nautical miles, and we just change this to 111, and then we should be good. Usually, depending on the altitude, obviously, but since the VOR stations are always on the ground, you will notice when you're flying a VOR that the DME will come down more and more until you reach your VOR, but it will never reach zero unless you are sitting right on top of it at ground level. But since you are up like, I don't know, how high are we, like 3,000 feet, it is about 1 kilometer. Just a little under a mile, so probably around 0.9 nautical miles it should start counting back up again. So but it gives you an indication. As soon as it starts slowing down and then, you know, then it starts going up again, then you know that you're, you can start looking down, and sometimes you can actually see the VOR station. It's pretty cool. These are round, white round dishes, sort of, and you can see the structure on the ground. I always wave at them, you know. Maybe they're lonely, maybe nobody ever gives them any kind of attention. And then Arkady comes by and he says, hello VOR, how are you doing? You know, stuff like that. It's simple, you know, like, it's just common decency. So where are we now? So I believe actually we're going to fly over, basically we're going to fly over a couple of airports. Does not look like I see any airport, maybe there, but I believe actually the VOR is maybe sitting here or something. But where are we now? 2.8 nautical miles. And the closer you get to the actual VOR, the harder it gets to stay on the right track, because obviously, you know, the difference is noticeable more from when you're close than when you're far out. It's the same when either going to the moon or going to Jupiter, you know. You can see we're starting to drift from the ground track. So right now, just keep on changing. Okay, so you are 0.9 nautical mile, 0.8. It looks like it's going slower, 0.7. Much slower yet, 0.6. 0.5, there it's off. Now we're in the blind zone. We're straight on top of the VOR. So the aircraft obviously now is confused, as you can see. It's going, what should I do, Arkady? So we just go 111. Decimal 4, 0. It is not picking up yet. Well, that's actually a shame. So what we can do, I will quickly check on the sky vector. So it was about a heading of 274 degrees. So we're just going to fly on a heading a little bit. So let's just disengage. Let's put this to heading. And we fly a heading 274. So the aircraft should now be turning to a heading of 274. We'll just carry on until the signal here starts coming in. Maybe one thing I could actually do myself, because maybe we should actually already be able to pick it up. For some reason, it's probably a pilot error. This does not seem to be linked to the nav1 here. So if you check back now, no, it's not there yet, but at least now it's been set up correctly. So now we just keep on flying heading 274, and once we get closer, the signals should start kicking in, which would allow us to fly the exact radial. Let's have a look behind us if you can see maybe what we just flew over. Looks like a nice swampy area there. I bet you that it is swarming with alligators, the California alligators. You know, the California alligators, they have attitude, you know. I was talking to one the other day, you know. I was asking, so what do you do for a living? And you know, he just snubbed me. He just looked at me. And I said, hey, what are you doing for a living? And he just looked at me. And the tension was rising, you know. And I was actually getting a little bit offended. And then all of a sudden he just started growling at me. And I'm like, why are you growling at me? You know, I'm just making a little conversation, you know. It's like, it's just a normal thing to do. But, you know, some of these Florida animals, man, that they cannot be trusted. I tell you, they cannot be trusted. I saw this video of some Chinese guy, I believe, with his family. He got out of a car and he wanted to take a picture, and the crocodile just ate him. You know, just ate him, ripped him to pieces, and just swallowed him. You know, it's insane. Like, these crocodiles used to be very friendly animals. You know, they used to be like the hippies of the animal kingdom. You know, and today they're all attitude. You know, all the crocodiles are always either watching their phone or just sitting there with their mouth open. You know, and then when you look. When you walk up to them and you start talking to them, they start growling at you. So I don't know. That's obviously, you know, I don't want to generalize, because, you know, generalizing, you know, it's never a good thing. You know, like, it's the same as saying we're all individuals, and then one says, no, I'm not. You know, well, I mean, right there. You know, I think we can all agree. Anyway, it is how life is sometimes. What do? We do nothing. We complain and we just keep on going. What else is expected? So let's just have a look. Why is the VOR still not working? 114.0 should be the correct VOR. Frequency. We can have another look just to be absolutely certain. I'll take you with me this time. So we're flying to, oh look, it's 110.4, so Arkady made the stupid little mistake there. So that's actually good news, because I was wondering why is the VOR not kicking in. Oh, let's just change the correct one there, 110. And there we go, this actually does pick up now. So if I change back here to the frequency, only doesn't show here. That's interesting. I do not like. There you go, now I do like. Okay. So we switch back from flying heading to navigation. It was not too much off, actually. Let's see what the heading should be. What am I doing? Okay, something like that. Well, there you go. So the aircraft autopilot is now going to follow another track. And we are about 25 nautical miles out, I believe. Yeah, 25.1 nautical miles. So it's going fairly well. And you know what? We could then do the same as we do before. We check the Skyvector website again. And we note down the next frequency. So we're now flying to Labelle. This is the Lima Bravo Victor 110.4, and then we fly actually to the last VOR before we fly the outbound radio on that VOR. So first we fly the inbound, which is Lima 278. And what is the frequency for this? It's the Punta Gorda Papa Golf Delta 110.2. Okay. So 110.2. So basically all we have to do is change the 4 into a 2. So 110.2. So just go to arm it here. Just so we do not, you know, it's like an external memory bank. You know what I mean? But it's only like a $40,000 external memory bank, because that's the price of the entire aircraft probably, or maybe even more. I don't know, actually know. My boss always pays for these aircraft. You know, I just fly and deliver. With regards actually to the delivery, let's see if we can. I don't think we can actually go there, but yeah. So in the back there, it's our delivery material that we're going to deliver. And You know, usually it's just it's not too big. But you know, sometimes my boss needs things to go from A to B in a fairly quick way. You know, and the aircraft usually is actually the best option. My colleague, he also had another flight, also from out of the same airfield that we were earlier, that were from our departure airfield, and he was flying to the Bahamas. So he was actually flying to the east, which was a fairly longer flight. We flipped a coin. Now I got the heads, you know. So it's always good to get the head, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So so we're taking we got the best flight. Obviously the Bahamas is also nice, but you know, it's almost bad time for me. You know, the sun is setting, so once we arrive there at our destination, I will just simply you know, turn in, I believe it's the American term. You know, life is all about winding up and winding down, isn't it? And then after a while you just land. And then you go get some shut-eye, and then the next day you start doing it all over again. You know, it's the flow of life. Okay, so the transponder is on. Are you guys back in the cockpit now, actually? Oh, yeah. Sometimes I think I might forget, maybe, to switch back of the view. So 16.7 nautical mile. So it's not does not look like a very densely populated area. It's more like I don't know, it's like farmland or something. Let's scoot on over to the other side. Have a look here. Look, there's another swamp. It actually does look like a pretty area, you know. It is fairly flat, I must say. But nonetheless quite pretty. I like the damaged windows that you can see on the model. They did a nice job. So the aircraft that we're flying now, it is a payware aircraft. I put the link in the description of the video, and they're not paying me anything, but I just feel like, you know, it's a nice aircraft. Why not just share it so people can at least have a look at it, you know? Otherwise you get the questions and more questions, and then you get the interrogations, and finally torture, you know. And Arkady been to torture, and Arkady do not like. So better to prevent than to sorry, you know. You know, these sort of backup compasses, they're interesting because they usually work in reverse. As you can see, the west, and now it looks like if you go left you would go to the north, which normally would not be really the case. If you're flying to the west, then you take a right, then you go to the north. So basically, if we're flying west, if we were to bank to the right now, this little ball that's hanging there would actually start turning to the left. So it works the opposite. It's also always a little bit disorienting if you focus on this one. With a lot of airplanes, this is like a backup. Obviously, you have your instruments here as well that you can rely on. So let's just tweak the VOR track a little bit. So 10 nautical miles. Let's just going to put up the sky vector chart for a little bit. Let's see, so we're flying to the Punta Gorda that is armed, and this doesn't say how long this is. It's fine. So we're flying to the La Belle. There's an airport to the left. Oh, you know, we'll just see it when we get there. Anyway, we're not there quite yet, but we're getting there. So look, there goes the sun. It looks like we're going to have a nice landing. like yeah, so the sun did its work for today. It's now going to the other side of the world. So people there are still sleeping, unless you have the people that work in the evenings and the nights, and then the sun come out and they scurry away like roaches, and they scurry under their blankets and they go to sleep. And I'm telling you, these people never see the sun sometimes. But they work hard. And why do they work hard? So that they cannot see the sun. I know, it doesn't make any sense, but sure, man. Not everybody is as fortunate as Arkady, flying for a boss that pay very well to fly a little aircraft from A to B through the United States or whatever, you know. It's like a worldwide operation. I should not say too much, because otherwise, you know, I might have to start killing you. Obviously, I'm joking. I would never kill you, you know. This is a simulation, and you could all interpret this as role-playing, or you know, or just a fantasy, or what else is there, or creative outlet, you know, just being silly. Because obviously I would never hurt anybody, and especially not if they're watching the channel, you know. It's the same as like there was this comedian Bill Hicks, you know. I was telling the story to a colleague today earlier about there was this band from the United Kingdom. They were called Judas Priest, and apparently two guys who listened to the music, they killed themselves. Because the people said yes, but they listened to the album Judas Priest, and there was a message there to kill themselves. I mean, think about this for a second. I mean, you know, great, 2 less gas station attendants in the world. You know what I mean? I mean, what popular band, you know, is saying, you know what? You know, I'm sick of it, man. You know, like, I'm sick of the free drugs. I'm sick of the free B jobs. You know what I mean? I'm sick of all the girls. You know, I'm sick of all the money. Hey, you know what? Ian and Nigel, come here, man. Listen, guys. I got an idea. You know, just open your minds really widely here, okay? You know what I mean? I mean, think about it. You know, what band wants their own audience dead, you know? So don't worry, I'm not going to kill anyone. I have never killed anyone, or at least not on purpose, you know? Okay, so the aircraft's banking here, so it looks like we are at our VOR. There you go. It's getting confused again. No problem at all. So we changed 110.2. There you go. It should be active. And now this one is not picking up for some reason. It is always something, man. It is always something, but, you know, if you get paid for it, sure. Okay, so it's still not picking up. So we're going to check what the heading should be. Let's just do this the slow way, but the fun way. So, Bell, so now we're supposed to be flying 278 degrees. So that's just the heading we're going to put in, 278. See, now it's actually turning. So 278, so just, oh, that's the wrong button. Something there. And we just switch back to navigate to heading, and immediately the autopilot starts turning the aircraft to the right. I love the shadow, the light play in the Microsoft Flight Simulator. They did a really cool job, man. Look at this. There goes, like, was some antenna kind of thingy on the top of the aircraft there. I don't know. It's a little. Oh, look, we can wave. You think we will see ourselves? Oh my God, no! I do not exist. I'm getting an existential crisis here. Oh my God. Okay, but not to worry. Is the signal picking up yet? No. 112.0. Just quickly double check. 112.0. I mean, you know, I do not try to make the same mistake twice. 102.0, yeah, that should be the Papa Golf Delta VOR, the Punta Gorda. But yeah, we're flying there. And you know, Arkady do not need the VOR. Arkady has the heading. Let's just double check. Let's zoom in on the heading a little bit, because I always have a hard time eyeballing this. So this was, let's see, 270 and 275, so 278 should be around there, I guess. So slightly change the course a little bit, and then we should we're going to fly an outbound radial, and now I'm not really sure. Oh, that would then be probably the outbound radial. I think this is actually then the moment that we will use the function that I showed you earlier. Let's zoom in a little so everybody can have a really good look. So here you see some of the different options. Now the localizer normal, and you have the localizer reverse. I'm just guessing. I know that the localizer reverse, at least the reverse part, obviously it stands for flying a back course. So if you are flying towards a radial, let's say you're flying towards radial 0, let's say 09 or 0, that direction. But so the VOR is here, the airplane is here, you're flying a heading of 09 or 0. But now you're going to fly the reverse. Then you should actually be flying heading 270, but you could still have the localizer set, or the VOR set to the 090, pointing to the 090, but it will just switch around. So where was the well, let's just reset the view here for a second. So basically this would just flip around. This yellow arrow there would flip around, and you would now be flying a back course. I believe probably that will be the way to do it. If this does not work, we at least know that it's only 12 nautical miles, and we fly a heading of 161. So what we could do as a backup is put in heading 161, but only after we do not have to use the heading bug. At this moment it looks like we're still using the heading bug. I do not know why, because it is not a very long leg that we're flying, 33 nautical miles, so it should probably pick up, but I don't know. Let's just keep on going for a little bit. Maybe it will pick up in a while. And looks, no, it did not pick up yet. Or did it? It just doesn't show here, but this looks like, let's see, what was the heading? 27 something, 278. Yeah, looks like there's definitely some here. Now it's at 30. Let's just fly this. Go to nav. Now the autopilot is going to follow the track straight towards the VOR. But it is interesting because it is not showing here in the distance measuring equipment. 102.0 is put in there. I'm not really sure why it does not display here, because the nav1 is actually picking up a signal, and it's actually also in the correct direction. So not really sure. Is there anything here? nav1 or nav2? No, this is it at nav1, so that's also good. So life is sometimes full of mystery if you do not understand it. Once you understand it, then actually more mystery come, because you know, the more you know, the less you know. Because you know how much you know, so you also know how much you do not know. If you do not know anything, you have no clue. So there's the sun setting. It's still working on setting. So unfortunately we do not have the DME, so we have no real way of telling how far we are out. What you could do in reality when you are in a situation like this, I'll show you the chart, but it's not something that I have mastered yet, But there are ways. Let's for instance look at this VOR here. Let's say the Fort Myers VOR with the Romeo Sierra Whiskey 111.8. Let's say you dial in this one, and maybe if this signal is stronger or whatever, you can sort of, if you dial it in, and as soon as you are in an, what do you call that, like a perpendicular angle, you can see it on your NAV2 radio. So now your NAV2 radio will tell you once you reach this point here, and the needle will then be set straight, then you know that you're at actually this point between this VOR, and this VOR, and then you sort of know where you are. So we could maybe try. I believe we will not be at this point quite yet, so maybe we could have a try, but not really sure if it works in this aircraft, and probably I do not know how to. Let's just have a look. Where is the frequency is 111.8. That could be a nice experiment. So 111.8. But here already nothing is changing. I could try this for a second. Just flip this around and put it to a heading of 180. But it does not appear to work just yet. Also, for experiment's sake, but this is you can regard this as just flicking random buttons. Put this to the NAV2. So I put this nav for GPS. It's on navigation. That's good. And turn it on. Probably that was what we needed to do. So here you go. Turn it on. Actually, I would think. Oh, it's flying there now. Obviously, that's no. But do not want to do that. Really, is it flying there? Oh, because we're flying on heading, of course. Okay. So I go back to nav1. There you go. The autopilot changed back. So that's what I mean. It's. But if you set this to 180, and as soon as it starts moving, at least that's how I understood, then you should know that you are past the point there. Which it looks like it actually might be. So if that is the case, then we sort of know where we are. So let's pull up the chart again, just to have another look at it. So what we just did is we tried to do something. We tried to work out. We put in this VOR here and set it to line up with the 180 radio. So going down like this. So once you are here, it should actually be in a straight line on your nav2 dial there, and so we might actually be around here. There's not a lot to see outside. There's some mountains to the right. Not sure if we could see them, so that we sort of know where we are. Could just have a look. Or mountains, maybe actually more like hills, because this is not a, it's quite a flat area. But no, I'm not convinced. We do have 19.7 on the DME now, so we are in range of the VOR. And let's also see, because it's the NAV2 now. Yes, it's interesting. So it does pick up the DME for the NAV2, but not for the NAV1. So it's false alarm there on that part, but we're just going to keep on flying heading 30. And in the end we will know that we are there if it really doesn't turn on, because it is actually, as you can see, the VOR is at the Punta Gorda airfield there. So we should eventually see an airfield. So if the DME doesn't want to kick in, there's no real big trouble there either. just fly to the airport. Once you're at the airport, turn in heading, turn left 161 degrees, and fly for about 12 nautical miles. And then you should find the other airport. You can see it's a red airport, the Pine Shadows. It's our destination. It is red, so it is not manned. I mean, there's no control tower or anything, which is for today's purpose precisely what we are after. And I still get obsessed over the stupid frequency not kicking in. I do not like very much. So what's there up ahead? There is definitely some signs of civilization. It's already a good sign, I guess. There's some water. Let's see. Oh, look, there goes the sun. Let's just enjoy this romantic little moment with the noise of the engines in the background, and just watch the sunset over Florida. And as you might know, the sun has actually set about 8 minutes ago, but it takes the light particles from the sun to reach our retina, to reach our eyes. It will take about 8 to 9 minutes at light speed, because that is how far the sun away is from us. It's about 150 million kilometers. That is quite some distance to traverse, you know, also for a light particle. But obviously, in astronomical scale, it is beyond peanuts. So it looks like the sun has now completely disappeared below the horizon there. Oh, look, it come back up again. It is doubting. It's not really sure if it wants to go or not. So maybe there's some clouds going on there in the background, obscuring some of the sight of the sun there. I'm not really sure if that is the case or not. Okay, so back to the flight and seeing where we are. Do we see an airfield anywhere? I do see a red light. DME is completely inoperative. Let's look at the charts again and see if as definitely this should be it, because there's the water here. So and there to the left, maybe the airfield is already actually visible. 12 nautical miles is not that far. The heading would be 161, so let's keep that in mind as well. There's an aircraft flying. Let's have a look. Let's cheat a little bit and look from the external view. So we're still following the track. So looks like we are not yet at the airport. There definitely looks like an airport to me. We could maybe check on the charts if there is might be another airport, and now we're mistaking like a wrong. See, there is an airport on the other side of the water. We are flying 300. So what if we're flying? No, not really sure. So I got us lost. I'm very sorry, we're never going to land. Well, this is actually the fun part of flying the VOR. So does that look like a coastline there? I think it does. So that might actually be the airport that we're flying to, where the VOR is sitting. And I still cannot bear it, man. Why the hell does this not work? 110.2. I just do not know. It's turned on, I can turn it off and on. Doesn't seem to make any difference. It's just not having it. What if we try, just for stupidity's sake, an F2? So you select here the DME. Which DME are you going to display? So now asking the aircraft, please show me the DME for the navigation tool. And I'm actually glad to see it's not doing it, because otherwise, you know, I think maybe I make some mistake or something. So let's just put it back to nav1. Okay, so there's the coast, and do we already maybe see another airfield to our left? So I'm not entirely sure. Do not want to piss off my boss, for obvious reasons. So I'm going to have another look at the chart again. What is it here? Part of me wouldn't be surprised if we are actually flying to the Venice Municipal Airport there, maybe. Because this looks like it's really sitting at the coast. And this one is not really, but yeah, maybe it's optical, you know. I'm not really sure here, man. Let's get rid of the chart for now. The left fuel tank is emptying out quite a lot, so I'm quickly going to, for the last leg of the flight, turn on the fuel pump there and select the right fuel tank. Yeah, so I'm not really sure if we're now at the Venice airport or not. Maybe one other way of checking could be to pull up the chart and put in the VOR for the Venice airport, because that would actually be a good candidate. Could also maybe the Placida Iowas, maybe this one, Coral Creek. This does not appear to have a VOR either, so I'm not really sure. It all sort of looks a little bit the same to me. Maybe we'll know once we get closer. And then again, maybe we will not. And what we, you know, worst case scenario, we land and we take it from there and then maybe take off again, but would be nice to just keep on flying, land only once, and we're at our destination, right? So what can we see at this airport? I would definitely think that we are too far, man. It is still saying it's flying this VOR, so that's why it's a little bit confusing. So let's just see what happens when we fly over the airport to see if this needle starts moving. Oh look, this is actually interesting. Okay, I feel really stupid. I could have spotted this earlier. Maybe you already see it, maybe you don't. But the nav1 here is indicating a FR. It means we're flying from the VOR. So I'm going to switch the needle around. So I'm sorry, I got ourselves lost. But we have to fly back now. But at least we know the VOR is working on the nav1. So yeah, we did not spot it, or at least I did not spot it when it was switching, because obviously that is the point where you know that you're overhead. So we get a little bit of the sightseeing now of the Florida area. We're still flying 2, we are drifting, so that's correct. And see how this works out. Because that could be an airport right there, the flashing green light. So that would make a good candidate for our airport. If that is the case, the navigation from that point on would still remain the same. It would mean not a left turn to 161, but a right turn to 161, like there, as you can very easily see on the chart. So basically our current situation, we're flying from somewhere to the left of the airport. And judging from where we were, it looks like we are here at the Venice. Flying to this VOR here. Once we see that the needle starts being weird, or the to and from starts shifting, turn right, heading 161, and then we basically eyeball for about 12 nautical mile, which is not too far when you're on this 3,000 feet altitude. Excuse me. Okay, so 161. Let's just dial that in for now. We're not flying on heading anyway. So 160. Right there. Something like that. And maybe 161. Let's just get a little more close there. See how precise we can get it. So that would be 15, 155, 16. 161 is like 15. I'm trying to get a little feel for it. This would be in the middle, then maybe one notch, 161. I believe this would be a heading of 161 now. Obviously it's not fully set yet. We are waiting for the to sign to change into the from sign, which would then indicate that we are passing our VOR station. I have good hopes. Let's have a little look outside. Oh look, the moon is out. How pretty. This DME is never going to work, unfortunately. So now we just be patient. Just hope this is the VOR. Does not look like we're... Oh, is there two airports there? I wonder what... Oh, that's an aircraft. Oh, let's just be patient a little more, but it looks like this is at the water with some land around it as well, so that sort of looks like what we saw on the charts there earlier. We're still following the track pretty precisely there, so that is good news. Quickly want to check something else on the chart, see if we can make use of this VOR here. Perhaps it could help us. That would be, is that the one that we dialed in, 111.8. Let's put in 111.8 on this end. That is picking up as well. So how can we use this to our navigational benefit? So we now have this one dialed in. Sort of sitting between them. So 12 nautical miles, so they should be about 24 nautical miles from this point. So if we do get a DME reading on this one, then we also sort of have a clue of how far out we are. But probably we're going to see it anyway. So I am going to turn on the nav2 DME. That is fortunately picking up. So that's good. So this also seems to tell us that we should be about 10 nautical miles from our VOR, assuming this is where our VOR station really is. If that's the case, then from that point on it would be about 24 nautical miles, and it is counting down. So I sort of have good hopes. We could maybe also dial in the heading of 161. Let's just get a little closer for precision's sake. Sometimes I'm a little bit far from the monitor. Let's have a look. 160. So from our current location, in a straight line to that nav2 VOR would be like 149er. Oh, sorry, I forgot to turn off the chart. Okay, so I'll dial that in. So let's get rid of it there. Have you have a look at the aircraft? Let's see. Looks like there's the airport. So now let's see what this one is doing. Looks like the nav1 is drifting a little bit. It is still displaying to and not from, and it's also not drifting very quickly. And I would expect it to drift a little quicker, since you know, assuming that we are close to it. This definitely is drifting. Also not too much. Here's the airport. If I look at the shape on the chart, it looks like it might be the correct airport actually. But if I look outside, we're now flying over the airport. So now what's the VOR going to do? There you go. It is now in the dead zone. So now it's confirmed from. So immediately we switch to heading. Now the aircraft is going to turn right, heading 161, which should take us to our airport. Now for the DME, let's have a look at what the distance is. It is about 2.3 nautical miles. So what I said, it's about double of what we need to traverse. So once it reads about 13 or something, then we should start expecting to see an airfield. I hope it's illuminated, because I have noticed some of the airfields here in the flight simulator at night. Sometimes they are simply not illuminated, and you're basically on your own with regards to landing. It can be a hassle, but this looks to be good news. What if we try and center this one? This heading would now be what? Let's have a look. Let's get up really close here. Oh, not that close. This should also be sort of 161, so we could probably even fly the navigation. Not going to do it. I'm going to trust the heading 161 straight from the airport there. But finally it's looking good. So basically what happened, in case you missed it or whatever, so basically what happened, we're flying from here, flying to this airport where we were supposed to turn left 161 to our destination. For some reason we missed that we flew over this, so we kept on going, and then we kept on going, and we reached up here at the Venice Municipal Airport. There we sort of got a brainwave and figured, let's just try and fly back, because we then noticed that we were flying a from radio and not a to. So then we changed it into a to radio, and then we were overhead, and then we could see it changing again to from, which means that you pass it. So now we turn right, heading 161. Maybe could go 162. Not sure how quickly this will change, depending on how far out you are from the VOR. But in general, that should actually be it. So this is good news. So we made an error, but we corrected as well. So that's always good. Could maybe even, let's see, 161. If you put this in here, should still straighten the arrow. So you can also see now that we are sort of flying 161 radial out from the from this VOR, the 110.2, the one that we just flew over, from which we are flying from. We're flying to another one that's sitting in a straight line from it. So really, it's all fine. So 18 nautical miles. So we are definitely getting closer. So let's see if we can get any visual on some airfields here. For now, it doesn't really look like it. There might be something there, but that's to the left a little bit. Probably just some illuminated road, like a highway or something that you have here. But I fear it was going to be a situation that I had earlier, where the airfield is just not illuminated. I'm going to cheat a little bit and have a look outside, the external view. Obviously you do not have this luxury in a real aircraft, so it is actually nicer to, you know, to just try and do it from the cockpit. It's really hard to see, man. So here's where a GPS would actually be nice. Not really sure about this here. There's some lights, but do not think it's any kind of airport. There is some open space here, but as you can see, it's really dark, so it's very hard to tell. Do see some straight lines. Sort of looks like a runway with a taxiway, but I do not think it actually is. There's some water, so we could have a quick look at the map. It is next to what looks like a river. The airport is next to what looks like a river, and there's another river. So the airport should be here somewhere, but does not look like there's any runway lights. So obviously that is quite a dangerous situation. If you do not know where exactly it is, how the hell are you going to land? But in terms of because it should be on this side of the river. Let me quickly double check again. Yeah, definitely. But I'm telling you, I do not see anything that looks like a runway. Obviously, it is nighttime, so it's difficult to see. So we're now probably flying past our destination. It is actually so hard to see, man. Even using the external view, you know. So we crossed the river. So I guess what we could do then is we divert to avoid a hazardous situation. My boss is not going to like it, but you know, he should fly the aircraft himself, you know. So what I'm going to do is fly the nav2 radial, or the nav2 VOR here, So select nav 2, put it on nav, and that is now going to fly towards the airfield. It's actually now going to fly to the other airfield then. So we are how much? 7.2 nautical miles out. So what is with these airfields that are not illuminated, man? Because oh, that might actually be an airfield right there. Not really sure. Can we get a good angle? No, not really sure, man. We still have plenty of fuel, but obviously it would be preferable if we land as closely, if not actually on our target airfield. Let's correct the track right here. So we're how far out? 4.5 nautical mile. Does anyone see an airfield, please? Yeah, probably this one. With the blue lights. We'll just go down and discover. So what we'll do, like 2.3 nautical miles, that could definitely be it. I hope the frame rate is going to stay friendly. First of all, switch off the autopilot. And power down the aircraft or turn back the throttle a little bit. Let's check our speed. It's still fairly high. Yeah, it's starting to have trouble with the frame rate, I believe. So we're just going to try and fly a pattern here. And what we could also consider is land here and take off in the morning. Oh my god, man, stop stuttering. Let's pull back the throttle, and let's not forget the landing gear lever there. Let's keep on descending. $1,500. Okay, so let's fly straight now. So now while we're flying straight, well, let's trim it because before we're too low. So as soon as you start flying level, as you can see, the speed is dropping. So that is what we like, but we do not like to descend too much. I'm trying to find the right pitch. We are really almost dangerously low here. It is definitely not a good situation to fight yourself in. Flap 1, your nose go up a little bit, compensate a little bit, not too much. Trim it up because we're doing a turn now. See, it's still dropping, so let's just fly manually instead of using the trim. Still descending a little, so keep it straight, keep it level. Yeah, we're in the stall. Full power. So that's what I mean, it's actually quite dangerous, you know. So the gear is up, the runway is straight ahead. At least that looks to be like a good situation. We have flaps full. Let's try to keep it steady. Oh, that's the gear, that's my bad. Wrong button. No worries, everything is under control. Okay, this looks like a sort of stable approach. Let's trim down a little bit. Speed's fine. So we're not going to land at our destination tonight. We had to divert to another aircraft due to a poor to no illumination of the airfield. So let's just keep on descending. We are a little bit high, but the runway is fairly long. I'm going to trim down a little bit and also bring down the throttle. Bring it down a little more. Oh, it's starting to crackle, which is not very nice. See if we can stabilize with the trim. We're descending quite fast here, it's like a battle condition. Speed should be fine once we reach... oh, look. There you go, we set it down. I think it was actually quite a soft landing. But I'll see that later. You can see it live, but I cannot. The flaps go up. Let's see, can we take a right somewhere? So if let's just stop here on the runway for a second. So look here, where can we go? So if we now look at the chart, the airfield that we should now be on is then the let's see here, it's this one, the Southwest Florida International. So Kilo Romeo Sierra Whiskey. To pull up that chart, Kilo Romeo Sierra Whiskey, just look it up. Kilo Romeo Sierra Whiskey, and search for it, check the chart, and just have a look at the airport diagram. We landed this way, I believe. Just see, are we actually in a good run? Yes, we are on the correct airfield, so that's good. See north ramp, terminal, control tower. Where would be the general aviation? Since this is the terminal, probably somewhere here to the right, or maybe at the north ramp. What we could do, maybe, we are at Alpha 6. So we take the first to the right, and then, so Alpha 6, just like that. It does not look like we can take a right here. Let's have a little look outside. Man, it's pitch black. Okay, so here you go. We can take a right here, definitely. Okay. So here you go. Let's see if you can vacate the runway. And there are thrusted yellow lines. At least some aviation civilization there. And how do we... I actually feel like we need to go here. Yeah, need to left here, I guess. So yeah, we're going to have to spend the night here somewhere close. You know, I could always phone my boss. This happened once before, and I phone my boss near the man in every city, and they just come and collect. You know. Why is it crashing? What the hell happened? You damaged your landing gear? Well, we damaged the aircraft. The boss is not going to like it. So that's an end to our stream. I have no clue what happened, man. Maybe it's so dark I just ran into something. I really don't know. I'm just curious. I'm going to look back the stream and have a look at what it was then. And yeah, but this is basically the end. It's the end of our flight. Unfortunately, we could not power down the aircraft, which is always nice. You know, it gives you a feeling of completion. You know what I mean? So yeah, so we flew past the. We were there, flew to Venice airport, then we turned and we flew to this airport again. Then we flew towards this airport. We flew overhead, but we could not see anything. It was pitch black. So we just carried on flying to this airport. This was illuminated. We touched down from this angle, and then we got off the runway. When we were taxiing, apparently all of a sudden I couldn't see anything in front of me, anything weird or wrong, and it says, "Hey Arkady, you damaged your landing gear." And it detects a crash. So that's the situation. It can happen, and maybe it's a good lesson. You know, like what aircraft you use and when, and you know what time especially, and what airports and everything. But yeah, so that's it. So thank you very much for checking, and I hope to see you guys really soon back on the channel. And everybody be kind to one another. Love will conquer everything, and it's all we have. Okay, so have a good day, everybody. See you next time. I'm Arkady, Gidzenko, your personal funky sim pilot, and thank you for checking, and have a very good day. Bye bye.